Well, hello my friends on YouTube. Well, Ganzo lately came with some nice original and exciting designs, and even, I think, very nice knives. I have already reviewed the 761 and the 760, which are quite original, and now this one, the 755, and a very special blade, or not so much anymore, since everyone lately have been doing some cleaver style knives, and we're gonna take a look at that today. This is the 755 in carbon fiber, and I even think it's called F7551 if you have to search it on GearBest, otherwise it won't show up. I will of course put a link in my description. I promised to do a video about GearBest or about Chinese sites. I haven't had the time yet, but what I would like to tell you very quickly is that it takes some time. It can be a bit of troublesome to search there, and once you order, you might have to wait, and the tracking doesn't always seem to be working very good. So all in all, it can be a bit of a sketchy experience, but usually, at least here in Europe, and at least in my country, they show up eventually. And if it's like this Ganzo 755, it's actually worth the wait. And this is of course the one we're going to have a look at today, as I said before. And as usual, we start at the blade and work our way down to the end or butt of the knife. This is a cleaver style knife, even has this hole in it to emphasize that. And it has a satin grind finish on the blade with this Firebird logo and blue thumb studs, and a finger choil dash sharpening choil. I can just about put my finger there without getting hurt, but this corner is very sharp, very pointy. So if you have sorry to say it, much fatter finger than I, much fatter fingers, you might be in for a very unpleasant surprise. But to me, it fits just about right. And then you have a nice choke up. On the back side of the blade, it is rounded off nicely in the spine. And we have some jimping here, which is very more or less for looks more than actually giving much friction. And if we look at the handle, we have this nice carbon fiber finish. I think it is laminated G10, but it still looks very nice. And we have the blue hardware, the screws, and we have the so-called G-lock, as Ganzo calls it, and otherwise known as an axis lock, and it works the same way as Benchmade's. Looking at the back of the handle, back spacer half the way on the knife, and I don't know, maybe I'll just find some light. I'll just show you, it is skeletonized inside. Just drilled some holes. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I'll just try to turn it, and of course this preserves a bit of weight, and that is of course a nice thing. It's still a rather heavy knife, but it preserves some weight. Steel liners, as we can see, and a bit of jimping on top here. Rather not that functional, but it's an accent, I guess. We look at the back or the clip side of the knife. It is ambidextrous, tip up, lift right carry, And of course this very typical Ganzo clip, which I think they borrowed from Spyderco, but never mind that. And of course the lanyard hole, which is not tubed, but because of the backspacer, it is actually a nice finished hole to your lanyard if you're so inclined. And looking at the belly side, we notice the liners, and I think I'll just start on fit and finish right away. Everything is nicely rounded off. The liners are flush with the handle and no sharp edges, no sharp corners, anything. It is nicely switched on the spine or the back of the handle here. And as I mentioned at the beginning, it is rounded off a little bit here, so it's not so sharp on the spine of the blade as well. And I guess you can say this fit and finish also applies for the blade sharpness, and it is very, very sharp. If we look at the centering, not perfect, but almost. Quite decent for around $16 knife. And I think we'll just move on to the action. This knife is on washers, one phosphor bronze and one Teflon, or nylon at least. Difficult to say, but the action is actually quite nice, an almost drop shot action. Of course, the rather heavy blade helps in that way, but it is very smooth, and I enjoy the action a lot. And as you can see, it's very easy to deploy, and I have absolutely no issue with that. I've been carrying this knife for a few days and just using it for the tasks that sometimes arise when I carry it. I don't use a pocket knife all the time, but you know, I use it when I have the need. And I have been extremely pleased with this one. I love the action. I love the fact that it is a unique knife, not a, as far as I know, not a copy of anything. And even though I was told that it would be nice in the kitchen, yeah, I guess it is. I can see that you don't have that much of a tip if you're doing some work in the forest. It is a very sturdy knife, and it functions very well. And you have a lot of control when you choke up here, and then it is almost as an ordinary knife, and you can say it's rather difficult to stab yourself with this kind of blade anyway. Other than that, I think it is a knife and a shape that gets noticed, and that's fun as well. It doesn't, to me, I don't know about sheeple, but to me it doesn't look that threatening in any way. But I've been surprised before, so I don't know. People have very different opinions about that. So all in all, it feels very sturdy. It locks up nicely, and I have been spine whacking it a lot. Some Ganzos have had some issues with closing when you spine whack, but this one is actually very nice, and I have had absolutely no issues with it. So for the use the testing I've put it through, it has worked absolutely amazing, and I like it very much, and I think I can easily recommend it. I haven't seen anything really negative about it online either, so I think it's a very nice buy for the price. So my recommendations, and with this, have a nice day, evening, whatever it is in your country. Bye bye.